I just had 13,000 calories in hot tamales.
You probably did. But before we start this video, let's go to the junkyard.
Just you.
Just me. Just me. He's not in it, but I'm in it. Let's do a little walk around and see if we can find something. Look at what gem I found. An old square body in a junkyard. Don't see any of these very often. It's not really much of anything on here that I need. I was hoping it had the clutch in it, but it doesn't. It's got the TH350, so it's an automatic. I really wanted the manual out of it for the pedals. It probably would have been cheaper than me sourcing them. That's too bad. Another grill in the bed, water pump, alternator, drive shaft. Look at the fuel cell. I can see why they threw it in here. Yeah, it's too far gone, guys. Nothing in here that I need. All right, let's keep searching. Let's look for another clutch. Looking for clutch master from an OBS. I found one, but it's not in the greatest condition. 1, 2, and third one's down there. Now the issue is I have limited time. I'm only gonna be able to be here for an hour. I gotta take those pedals out. Look at this thing. Old school bug guard, and it's not even broken, not even cracked. I got that. I got a radiator and the upper mount for the radiator. Just because it's cheap enough, I'm at a junkyard, I could probably get it for a smoking deal, 10 bucks. Probably worth the risk at that point, but I got it, which is nice. Let's see if I can get this overflow tank out, as I need that one as well. Grab that overflow while I'm here, might as well do that. Right here, that goes on top of the radiator. I'm gonna take every victory I can on this. Look at this thing from the 80s. That's what I need. Looks like it's been rewired right here for a cigarette lighter. Man, that thing is sweet. A service truck needs that. I need to grab that. Old school. Interior is actually not horrible in this. Yeah, I'm pulling that right now. Grabbing it. Why not? Who cares? Why not? Be 4 bucks. Okay, so I just grabbed my cart. Got the bug deflector, top of the radiator mount, fan, overflow, and I hid the radiator in here so nobody would take it. Oh, man. For the price, I'm gonna risk the radiator, see if it works. I don't see any corrosion on it or where coolant was running down it, so it might still be good. Now I need to find a radiator cap to go with it. So I just pulled a bunch of parts at the junkyard. When I get home, I'm gonna show you what those parts were. You saw a handful of them, but not all of them. I ended up getting a lot more than what you guys saw. Actually, this time around, the junkyard paid off pretty well, so we got a bunch of stuff from the junkyard. But hey, since we're here, let's do a little junkyard crawl. Can I show you what we have here in Idaho? A lot of rust-free car parts. You can see that the sun's starting to come out. It was raining earlier. It's been 6 months, something like that, so let's do a little junkyard crawl while we're here. Why not? Kill a bunch of time before I have to take off and go run some errands. So this is the aisle of old stuff. And I see here, it looks like we have an old wagon. Check this thing out. I am definitely hot for these things. I'd really love to have an old Caprice wagon or an Oldsmobile wagon. Anything wagon from the 70s and 80s, I'm all about. Look at how pretty rust-free this thing is. It's a shame that these things end up in junkyards because people assume that other people don't want them. So cool. It's a shame. It's too bad. That's how it goes, I guess. Looks like we have an old Impala here. 70, 71. It's an old J. No, it's an old Merc. Old Mercedes. Old Mercedes, bug. Looks like an Alpha Spider. Pretty much the ugliest thing you can see. It's too bad these things end up here. This looks like an old Nash Statesman. It's just a shame that these are here. These guys over here are pretty awesome. Yeah, an old Nash Statesman. You can tell it's definitely a Nash by the front fenders. It's a shame that this is in here. Once these cars enter the junkyard, you can't pull them. What they do is they put discrepancies on the title where you can't actually put these back on the road. So once they're in here, it's pretty much a guarantee that it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna take my sweatshirt off. It's getting hot now. Woo, boy. Don't watch me. Turn around. Have some dignity. Could you imagine if I dropped my keys out here? Nelly. I know somebody who did that. I don't know if it's too cold. I'm gonna sweatshirt off. All right. Here's all the GM cars. I'm a big 80s GM guy. 80s to the early 90s. I love those GM cars. Boats is what people call them. To me, they're not boats. They're actually the size of a new Honda Accord or even a Honda Accord from the 90s. You know, they run forever. what happens is grandma and grandpa pass on and the kids don't want anything to do with them. Then they end up in places like this. This one's just shot. Look at the interior. Doesn't even have the swoop center gauge. I like that. I've been here for a couple hours, so I'm pretty worn out right now. I need to stop at the gas station, get a Gatorade or something. I am absolutely fried today. Pontiac Sunfire. Always throw the seats out of that. Put it in an S10. So you have bucket seats. Another Buick. Let's go look at some trucks while we're here. Might as well show you all the trucks that we found. A lot of OBSs here. Actually, there's 3 square bodies, which I was astonished on, that we pulled parts off of. When we get home, like I said, I'll show you what parts I pulled. That'll definitely help out in the swap that we got going on. All right, GM stuff, just rows and rows of GM stuff. Clutch master's been taken out. I wanted that for my truck, but it's been taken out. There's another one that had a clutch in here, but the clutch is stuck. I couldn't get the pedal down. Oh, is that Escalade all-wheel drive? They're all-wheel drive, 6 liters, pulled. It's a lot of junk, really, but to us, it's cool junk. Now, let me show you those square bodies that were here. There's 3 of them, 82, a 70-something, 70-something. 76, 77, something like that for the other 2, I believe. Let's go check them out. I got some pretty rare parts off of one of them that you just don't find. I'm really surprised we found these in a junkyard, but let's go head over to them. Another Escalator, 6 liter gone, 5.7. I mean, there's LS galore in here. Pick these things up for $400 here at the junkyard. Not that one. Okay, let's go take a look. I am absolutely worn out from taking the parts off of this one. I'll show you what I robbed parts off of or bought parts off of. This one. Took a bunch of parts off this one. This is the 82 with the camper shell on it. Took some parts off that one. And there's one more. I love the patina on this one, the C10. I like to have that grill, but that grill is all broken and mangled. This thing had a 305 in it. Joking, joking. You know what it is. 350 probably had the same power as a Iron Duke from the 90s. I said it. I went ahead and said it. This thing's just too far gone. Those seats out of a van. There's your crease in your square body hood. There it is. Things are notorious for that. If I had room, I'd grab another hood. There's reasons for that I'm not going to release yet. Now here's another LS. They're coming for you, N-Motive. They're coming for you. I don't want to spend too much time here, guys. Like I said, I've been here for hours. I am absolutely parched. All I can think about is a big bottle of water. I'm hurting. So let's get out of here. Sun's starting to come out. It's supposed to be 75, 80 today. That's not bad, but when you've already been out here for 4 or 5 hours, it's pretty much the end of the day for me. And my hands are absolutely in pain. Got cuts all over them. More and more rows of Chevys. Just rows and rows of them. They go through spurts. Let's get back to the house. About as beat as I can be.
You got a frog pose.
oh man, that's definitely going in the video. Well, I guess I can throw the front end on. I don't really need your help. You're more here just to hang and chill.
No, I'm here to eat hot tamales.
Dude, hot tamale. Do you already eat that one back?
Down here.
I just want 2 more. Give me 2. Okay, I like 3.
Man, those are,
Dude,
they're so good.
hot tamales are one of my favorite candies. My mother-in-law buys me boxes of hot tamales.
They're so good.
So this thing kind of just wedges in there. That's it.
Pretty much done. It's a finished truck right now.
Let's grip it and rip it.
I need to go. That one has a Z. That one has a 280ZX.
Which does?
Yeah.
The Napa one?
It did.
All of thy bolts. Now I'm not going to do all the bolts right now. I just want to get just this core support. back together.
It's overkill, honestly. If the GM engineers wanted to have all the bolts.
Talk about overkill. The transmission cross member, it was 14 bolts, 7 on each side. IS-10, 2. Your 260 or 280Z, your 280Z, 2 on each side.
Yeah.
Right? I would think.
Yeah, I haven't even been on there, but I'll put money on it.
I'm not gonna fully cinch it down, so I'm gonna lock it in.
You don't even be able to put the hood on here, huh? The hood's gonna sit up too high.
Yeah, the hood won't fit.
It might clear, yeah, it'll clear, huh?
Maybe. It might.
It's real close.
We can put a straight edge on it and see.
Well, you gotta think the hood is probably, what, 2.5 inches taller than where it sits here at least. I think, oh, that's pretty
The only issue is once the hood is on, I lose all my lighting. And one of the square bodies had a square body crease in the hood. But I might grab, once this is done and running, if they're still over there, I might grab another hood. Core support is in. Got plenty of room.
There's like lots of room like right in this area for other things. You've never taken one of these apart, technically.
No.
You know, it was already pulled apart when you got it.
Well, I say let's put the drive shaft in, shall we? Which won't take long at all, but I do have to install this one mount. Let me go underneath and grab it. My new trans mount.
Ooh,
20 bucks. 20 smacks for that thing.
look at that billet goodness.
And I'll return that torque converter, 200 bucks back.
Hey, the 3 might be,
oh, yeah,
it might
right.
be for a different mounting option for a different transmission.
Underneath, I've got the 2 bolts for this, so this one can go in the center. Because there's actually a hole on my transmission cross member on the center of it for a mount. It was made for this swap. It literally was.
Yeah. You get almost that tunnel effect. You almost get that die-hard air
Dude, a die-hard effect?
Die-hard air vent, you know? Right.
Dude, is those hot tamales making a comeback or what?
The hot tamales and the beer are just sizzling in my stomach.
Where's that billet mount?
Over there.
Right there, buddy.
It is.
Now, let's take a look underneath. Nick, drop her down. That's it, pull her out. We're locked in, dude. What do you think? You guess how much this drive shaft costs?
Done locally? How much? They just had to chop it and weld it?
New yoke, lengthen it, new carrier bearing, new, what are these called? U-joints?
Yeah.
Take a guess. And it's balanced.
$250.
$651.
Say it again?
$651.
You gonna cut that from the video?
Probably not.
Was it really that much? Mm-hmm. My goodness. It's not even carbon fiber.
I knew it was going to be expensive. Especially being a 2-piece.
Dang.
Okay, here we go. Let's slide her in. Here we go. 691, brother.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. Now that it's rebuilt, it doesn't feel as heavy as it used to be. There's no reason why it'd be lighter. Here we go.
I'm gonna be sore from that one.
I'm gonna be more sore when I find out that this isn't the right bolt for this nut. Ready? Look at that pose. All right, Nick.
Yeah, dude.
2C for life, brother. I say this drive shaft fits. A. George A.
I'm just glad the camera's not behind me. To get this angle right here, and I'm trying to keep up off the floor, I got an arch in my back.
So Nick just took off. What do? We got the hose clamp on there. Well, let's do a little walk around real quick and kind of show you where we left off at on this, because we got a lot of stuff done on it. So we're already starting to wrap up on the cooling system. I still got to do the lower hose here, get that one wrapped up. Got the exhaust to do, put the spark plug wires on there. I got to get the starter wire on there. But as far as the interior, everything is coming out pretty well. I don't know what I want to do with this yet. What I'm either thinking is coil it, put it on top of my HVAC system, or running it underneath the carpet and putting it under the seat. I don't know if I want to do that yet. Don't mind this. Act like you didn't see that. Or put it underneath the seat. Don't know yet. But we got drive shaft in. I'm about to order my fuel pump and all my fuel system set up. So we're getting pretty close on this. We're probably about 2 weeks away, hopefully, fingers crossed, 2 or 3 weeks away from getting this thing actually running and driving down the road. So let's keep chipping away at it, guys. I do appreciate it. We're gonna check back in tomorrow. It's a new night. We're here to work some more. One thing I did real quick was I took the steering column out. You honestly didn't miss much. All it was this joint right here. I took the bolt out. That clamps onto the splines right here. And then what I also did was there's a couple bolts underneath, a couple nuts underneath. That whole steering column slid out. It was real simple. I just needed it done real fast. I did that last night. So I was in a crunch time. Camera was running low on battery. And I knew that if I filmed it, I was gonna lose part of my progress. So I just went ahead and did it real quick. So you did not miss anything there. Now let's get the pedal assembly out from the automatic, because all it has is just a brake pedal. And let's install this unit. Got the brake, got the clutch, got some Crocs. I'm gonna change these out for the black ones. And that clutch pedal right there, I'm hoping it'll be pretty aligned with this hole right here. Tomorrow comes my clutch master cylinder and I think it's the correct adapter, an M12x1 to AN-3 for my clutch line. So hopefully we can get that clutch wrapped up. We are coming down to crunch time, guys. We're getting pretty close. I've got about another 2 weeks until this truck needs to be complete. Actually, it's more like a week and a half. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make that deadline. So for right now, let's get that pedal assembly out. Let's start rocking and rolling on that thing. And hopefully have this bad unit on the road sooner rather than later. Also, like I said, at the end of my last video, there is a surprise I wanna show you guys for this truck. I am really going for the 1970s, 1980s contractor vibe for this truck. And the parts I have for it, I think are gonna make it really what I'm looking for. Only a select few people know exactly what those parts are. Only one in particular, Nick, knows what every part is for it. And I think it's gonna transform this truck from a crappy old looking service truck to even a more crappy old looking service truck. I want this thing to look like I'm pulling into a construction site in 1984. That's the objective of this. And I think the parts that I have is really gonna finish that one off. But anyways, let's get this bad boy in there and get the old one out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jack the front of the truck up. I'm gonna push it over just a little bit because I need access inside that door a little more. That door, when I open it, hits the wall. So let's do that real fast. Didn't I use a black last time? I think I did, didn't I? Flip them. I don't want to tell you what mufflers I'm running yet. I might just leave the truck on these dollies for a little bit. And down she goes. I can actually open the door all the way, so it's a humongous help. Let's get the light ready. Let me show you what that automatic pedal assembly looks like, the one I'm about to remove. Lighting's not gonna be great in here. I wish GoPros had lights for them. But we need to take off the linkage for the brake pedal. And then there's 4 bolts on the other side of the firewall. And then the 2 up here are already removed, those 2. And this thing's out. So let's get the real bad stuff first. Those 4 bolts are a pain in the butt. It's these ones right here. It's that one and that one. This one stays put. I need to remove that one, and there's 2 on the other side. Then it'll basically be out, and then we can install this one. So let's go ahead and do that real fast. I know this truck's taking a while to get complete, but you know what? I work a full-time job, I got a family, and this is not priority number one to me. Priority number one is my family. So I do this on the side, guys, so don't expect every project to be just a turnaround. When I pulled that pedal assembly off at the junkyard, these four were a nightmare to take off. Not easy in the slightest. I'll bring in as soon as these four are pulled out. So all four of those are out, just about. Now I don't know how much of this you're going to be able to see or not see. I'll show you what it looks like. Hey, you fell. Stay there, would you? Are you staying? Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the brake stop off, show you what that looks like. Are you staying put? Okay, there's your brake stop. Where did that go? Okay, now we can remove the pin for the brake lever. Show you what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm working on this. Trying to get that lever off. See if you can see what I'm doing here. Because I gotta move the brake pedal, right? It's hard to do all this with one hand. See how the brake is free? Because I took it off that lever. So now what we're gonna do, I left one nut on there loosely, just in case, so the pedal assembly doesn't slam down. Now that thing should be able to come out of there pretty easily. I say that now. See if I can get the bigger flat head and see if I can pry that thing down. I'm gonna stick you back up in my little holder there. You're just gonna hang out right there, sticking up like that. Just pull it down here. There it goes, it dropped out. It's beating me up. There's the brake pedal. And let's compare it to the other one, because obviously we know there's another pedal. And there's the clutch. Now we're gonna install this unit. A little bigger. You can see they just added another bracket to it because the shell itself is exactly the same. They just added this bracket here. And hopefully the clutch pedal lines up with the hole on the firewall and I can get, man, I really did cut myself. And I can get that clutch pedal or the slave master cylinder pretty lined up. Can't talk right now. Got too much to do, too much on my mind. Let's get the new pedal assembly in and mounted. Okay, just reverse order it. Really wish I knew where that went. That brake light switch. It's one of these two harnesses. It goes here, and when the pedal goes down, it releases off that. And I don't know where that thing went. There we go. New pedal assembly is in. Just because it's in doesn't mean it's done. I still have to drill a hole in the side of that clutch lever. When I install the clutch master, hopefully it gets here tomorrow. I can show you guys what that looks like. And hopefully we can get that one fully installed. So that whole pedal assembly is gonna have to come back up. But let me show you what it looks like with it in there at least. Turn on my handy dandy little FLIR flashlight and dummy tester. Little dummy stick as well. There it is. There's the two pedals. And then they got the gas pedal, which I need to get bolts for. There's the throttle pedal right there. I need to get bolts for that right here. Maybe when I go to Ace tomorrow, I can grab some hardware for that. But here it is. It's in. Now it looks like, let me not use a flashlight. There's the hole on the other side of the firewall. Now I'm gonna give you some light. Looks like we're gonna have plenty of room to run a hole on the side of that lever. That thing lines up perfect. Originally, what that hole was for the speedometer cable. I'm gonna go with the GPS speedometer, so I'm not gonna be running a cable with it anyway, because it's not gonna work for my transmission regardless, so I think a GPS one will work better. Hopefully I can find one that kind of looks similar to the C10, C20 speedometer that's in it, but that's what that hole was for. But it lines up perfect for having a clutch master installed. This truck originally, even if it was manual, did not have a clutch master in it. It was all linkages, stuff like that, that actually pushed on a slave cylinder on a transmission. So we aren't doing it that way. We're doing it all hydraulic. And then a new clutch master will be installed on this crispy stainless. Yeah, it's gonna fail. It's fine. It's fine. Just go and look away from the burn marks from when it was in the S10. But that's gonna hook on to my master here, and then give us access. Where's my bleeder? Where's my bleeder? Right in front of me. There's the bleeder for the clutch. But hopefully after that, guys, once that clutch is in, we can start butting up the front of this thing. I did have to take the radiator back out because I got the fan shroud. I forgot that at the junkyard when I picked up that and the pedals. I forgot to pull the fan shroud. I want this thing as simple as possible. When I had the electric fans on the S10, those fans let me down. I was at a stoplight and I saw a temp gauge get up to 220, 225. Not enough to overheat the motor, but enough for me to get concerned. I pulled into a parking lot, I think it was like Home Depot or something, shut it down. Then what I did was I wired up and got one fan to actually work for a second, so I was able to get home with that. I think the fan ended up shutting off on my way home, but I still had enough cooling because I was moving. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna install the fan shroud back on. I'm gonna put a clutch fan off an LS on it, and all that, it works together. It's dead center inside the core support. It'll fit. I've already checked, and that's not gonna be a problem. So it's one less thing to worry about. So let's go down the list real quick. I should make a list on the whiteboard, actually. Let's do that real fast. And if we're out tomorrow, I might go to my buddy Kevin's house. He says he has a couple clutch fans to let me grab. So I'll just grab those off him since he don't need them anymore. He is my LS guy. He's the one where I got that welding table from. Kevin's a good dude. Okay, let's make a little list and we're gonna check it once. So finish clutch, right? Because that is the master cylinder. Misty, what else do we have? We have Holly wiring to button up. We have fuel system. Real quick, I actually have the fuel pump and fuel filter for this truck. It came in today when we're doing this whiteboard. As a good reminder, I'll show you what all that stuff looks like. We got a cooling system to finish. We have exhaust. So that's probably what's gonna slow me down. I gotta do the downpipe and mufflers. All this stuff costs about 300 bucks. I might just go ahead and wing it and just buy it and just worry about it later. But that's the big one for me because I need to have that O2 sensor plugged into a bung on the exhaust for the downpipe. The downpipes through Holly, which are the right ones that I need, those are about $1.85. The mufflers are about 40 bucks a piece. And then I got some straight pipes I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do the exhaust myself. I'm not paying no exhaust shop to do it. I've got plenty of tooling to do that right. So those are probably the big major ones. Little parts that I need from the junkyard. Let's do clutch fan. Kevin has that. Let's do LS drive for, what is it, my power steering pump. I need the bolts for the alternator. I want to get this thing power steering working on it. I need the brake switch for under the dash. When I hit the brakes, the brake lights turn on. I need a clutch reservoir because I don't have any way to fill up that master cylinder. You'll see the unit that I bought. It's a next generation square body, so I think it's like what, 82 to 90 something, 93 I think is the clutch master I'm using. It'll work fine on this guy. I was gonna go with the Willwood one, but the Willwood clutch master cylinder, the Willwood, hard for me to say that, the Willwood clutch master has to be perfect. Like when that rod pushes into the master cylinder, you can't be at any slight angle. If you do, you actually score the inside of them. That's what I don't like about those units. People like Willwood, I get that. They're really good if it's a very, very precise, very, very precision parts. something like this, it's not really that precise. So when I do push it in, it'll have a little swing to it, and that could score the inside of the bore on that. So that's why I didn't go down that route. Sorry, I'm rambling now. Those are probably the 4 big ones. Let's do drive bolts. That goes hand in hand with the LS drive. But I think that's mainly it from the junkyard. I might try and score a bunch of lug nuts because I have a bunch of lug nuts missing. Honestly, truly, there's a bunch of stuff I still need to get from the junkyard, but I think I could probably get it all in one trip. LSs are plentiful. The drive is plentiful. So we're gonna go ahead and call it for tonight, guys. Ooh, no, we're not. I'm gonna show you my fuel system. I almost forgot. It's that nickel and dime stuff that'll get you when you're doing a build. Nobody can do an LS swap for under 500 bucks. I challenge that, unless you have every single part, which nobody ever does. Here is a fuel filter. What I like to run is the 300ZX, a Nissan 300ZX fuel filter. I like it because they're big and just throw a couple hose clamps on it. That's what I like about it. They're not, no special tools required. That's why I like these. These are also $6. What you could do is if your fuel system's real bad, you can run like 2 of these in line, and then when it starts choking up, toss the first filter in the garbage. Then you got your second filter and it should be able to handle the rest. I don't know how bad this fuel tank is. I know this truck was running not that long ago, so I should be okay. Should is the, ooh, sun-kissed. This should be the fuel pump. I believe this one is. Let's open up this guy. This is the fuel pump. There it is. This is a 115 PSI fuel pump. Here's the fuel pump itself. Right there. You got a positive, you got a ground. What I want to do is connect this to a switched ignition so it's not have constant power to it because you don't want that running all the time. Here are the mounts for it. So you can slide that in and then mount it to the frame. Simple enough. There's also this to protect it when you clamp it, so we'll use that. And here's your fittings. Just the same thing, right? Hose barb. Just an easy fitting. A couple hose clamps and you're done. So that's the plan for that. So that's it for the fuel system. I think that fuel pump is like I cannot talk for some reason tonight. That fuel pump, I believe, is either 112 or 115 PSI fuel pump. I am gonna step it down anyway because I'm running the factory. Let me straighten you guys out. Are you guys crooked again? But I had the factory fuel pressure regulator that'll kick it from 115 down to 60 PSI. Let that thing do its job because I'm not gonna run a inline fuel pressure regulator like I do on a Ferrari. I don't need it. That's it for tonight. A little quick one. I was out here for probably a total about an hour. I've also got a YouTube video uploading right now. It's pretty much the first part of this thing getting running. I installed a new motor and transmission in there, cut out the hole for the shifter. Like I said, I'm not going automatic. It was just financially, it made no sense to me to spend $1,000 on a transmission that was worthless. I was better off spending another 1,500 bucks and I was better off just spending another $500 and just getting one that was already rebuilt where I didn't have to do any work to it. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that one. I might just use it as a core at this point. It's probably worth 50 bucks, which is unfortunate, or I just end up just tossing it in the garbage. It's got some aluminum on it, so maybe I'll just scrap it for scrap value, like 10 bucks probably. So I appreciate you guys watching this episode. What we're gonna do is in the next one, we're gonna do the junkyard run. Gotta pick up a whole bunch of those parts. Clutch fan, LS drive, brake switch, clutch reservoir, maybe a lower radiator hose if they have one. Just a whole bunch of random stuff in this one. So let's go to the junkyard, let's grab those parts. See you guys in the next episode. We'll catch you guys next week. See ya, bye.